After getting here and seeing all of the work they've put in with all these new rooms and the new equipment, that is just like one plus that a lot of people look at. But one thing that people really don't look at is kind of like the vision of what Claypool and stuff has for this place.
The second I met Claypool, the second we had conversations, everything just like clicked. Almost immediately, I was willing to commit to the school.
The Cumberland Esports program is dedicated. I'm impressed by the way that they're going about, especially the Valorant program. They just finished a bunch of renovations and a big investment on, a deep roster, making sure we all have good setups, plenty of space, that we're not needing anything for our practices. So I'm very grateful for that.
Being on any esports team is obviously going to help, but being on Cumberland's esports team, I felt like I've got to meet a great group of guys that I otherwise probably would never have known.
But coming to Cumberland, where you have everybody around you who genuinely wants the same thing you want, they have the resources for that, their personality, everything ties in to this like just huge support system. Cumberland itself, the program, the people, my friends, just kind of how everything has panned out over the years, it kind of all culminated to where like now like my drive to become, I want to become the best in the world, so my drive for that is just completely revitalized.
Doing the watch greatness happen type of thing, that's why I wake up every day like, hey, if I don't chase it, if I don't watch it myself, then I'm doing a disservice to my players. So I'm Spencer Claypool. I'm the head esports director here at Cumberland University. I'm the guy that started it from the ground up. We decided to start the program in the fall of 2021, and then beforehand we decided that esports was going to come in January of 2021, and so it was only like a quick turnaround to try to get stuff squared away and everything, but the school was fully invested into really just trying to get the team up and get the team going and everything with equipment and all that jazz. And so started off with 9 players. 3 of the players were players that already attended campus, and then the other 6 were not. And so those titles that we competed in were just Overwatch, Rocket League, and then Madden and 2K. And so nothing crazy. I didn't want to overdo myself and everything as well, especially it being my first year going into it.
Back then, it was very familial. It was very small. We had, I think, 11 players, maybe even fewer for our very first semester. I don't remember totally, but around 10 players. So not a lot of people. It wasn't a super small room because it had enough to fit in 11 PCs, but it was small enough compared to what we have now. So it was a lot smaller is the biggest thing I would say and it felt a lot newer. A lot of us were kind of figuring it out for the first time. Some of us hadn't played competitive esports before, much like I haven't, and some of us have. So our coach had never directed an esports team, so he was still figuring out that aspect of things. And it was just very new and it was very small, but we were all passionate about it, and we all had the fervor to allow it to grow. Because we were all passionate. We were all ready for it to grow. We were all ready to do everything we can. But it was smaller and it was newer, so everyone was kind of getting used to what we were doing. Coach was learning, the ins and outs, how to talk to people, how to set up scrimmages, how to set this up, how to get sponsors here. I, as a player, I was getting used to being on a team, playing in matches, learning and growing myself as a player and a teammate.
So program is now 3 years old. It started off with 9 players, now upwards of about 55 players as well. With the growth of our team and everything as well, the school proceeded to give us more growth and everything as well, with all of our equipment, our space to practice and everything as well.
The program now is much bigger. It is much more focused. It understands its place more, right? We're signing people with a purpose. We're signing people with intentions for building teams, for building programs. We're much more focused on what we're doing. We're much more confident in what we're doing. We have a lot bigger of a staff.
Massive success, massive growth that we've had from the team going into year 3, especially with one of the largest recruiting classes that we've had, especially as a program, especially, around, other states and everything as well. Compete in 7 different titles with all sports titles in Madden, 2K, FIFA, Valorant, Overwatch, Rocket League, Call of Duty, and everything as well.
Claypool's vision from starting from last year, we had one small room last year with like 15 computers, to being in an entire another part of this facility now with 50, 60 plus players and just constantly growing. His mindset is always growth and always improvement. He doesn't really ever get satisfied with anything, which is kind of just been me my whole life. So I think I fit really well with that mindset, and that's kind of what helped me make the decision to come here. Made it really easy, and after learning that about him and about the program, it was just a no-brainer. I mean, I love it here, and I don't see myself leaving anytime soon.
So we actually bought out a old Journey Church, so a massive building, and that's where originally they put our first facility, and then at the end of the building is where a lot of offices and stuff were. And then because we grew so fast, they said, you guys can completely take this over and do what you need with it. And so when we took that over last year, there was only 4 rooms in there. But with the massive growth of all the recruits that we brought in and everything, we completely revised everything into that facility. And from June to the beginning of August, we added on 2 new practice rooms. We had a company come in and build 2 new practice rooms for us inside that building. And that's how we were able to give everybody their own practice room at the end of the day.
We have a trophy case when you first walk in. We have a lounge, 4 TVs, corner to corner. So, I mean, we could be out there watching games with everybody, or we could be, we just practice all night and we just want to sit there and watch a movie together.
And then we have 4 different rooms spread out from that lounge. 5, actually, sorry. 4 of them are practice rooms for different teams. So it's Rocket League, it's Call of Duty, it's Overwatch, and then it's like our sports games, which is like FIFA, Madden, NBA 2K.
We got fridges for drinks and stuff. And we're one of the first rooms when you walk in. So you walk in, it's probably like I'd say 15 by 30 foot, 35 foot room with 8 computers in there. 4 computers for our ACAD team and 4 computers for our main team. So it's super nice, really extremely nice chairs. So, I mean, super comfortable to sit in. The equipment is nice. I mean, everything runs really well in there.
And then our 5th room is like a production room, where we're doing streaming and casting for the games, for the matches that are going on.
Currently, I'm in the production room. So this is the production room for the Esports Lab, which is still wild to me. This is, I feel like, what you'd see like an actual professional content creator would be looking at, and even in some regards, maybe not even that. So very amazing, honestly.
It's really cool though, and I hear that they have plans to expand even further next year. So I'm excited to see how that turns out.
So big thing, like I said, I come from traditional sports. At the end of the day, I think, how the esports like lounges look or facilities look and everything as well is very key. Just because, at the end of the day, you look good, you play good and everything as well. That's just the, typical saying that you see in traditional sports and all that.
Very regularly are there players just walking in and out of other rooms, just talking to you about how'd your scrim go? How did your match go? We know what teams you were playing. We know what players you were playing. Like, how did that go? A lot of common ground, I think, here, and I think sometimes that can go overlooked and not as appreciated as it could be. And I think that a lot of us do a very good job here at Cumberland at appreciating that.
All of our sports teams, so like our Madden and FIFA teams, all have PlayStation 5s. Our whole Rocket League team, our whole Overwatch team, our whole Call of Duty team, whole Valorant team, all have brand new monitors, new computers, new chairs, new desks. Everything that you need to be competitively as successful as possible and as comfortable as possible as well. So that's just another huge shout out to Claypool and Cumberland themselves for, giving us everything we need to just be successful. Like, now we have no excuses besides just to practice and just to grind to get better.
So we actually did a 2-week-long boot camp before school even started. That 2-week-long boot camp, or preseason camp, however you want to specify it, where we got them up at 8 a.m. To go have team breakfast, and then we had team meetings, like more of like an icebreaker type of thing. We did a thing called title talks where we'd bring each title going in, but we would have all activities going on throughout the day until 6 o'clock, and that's when actual esports would start.
everyone kind of had mixed opinions about it. Everyone's kind of just like, why do you need a boot camp for esports and stuff like that? But like I said, Claypool always has a bigger vision, regardless if we see it or not.
To have an institution, to have a plethora of people who were willing to dedicate 3 weeks every single day to the same goal that you've had, where otherwise for the past few years, I mean, you try to convince everybody you even know that you're not even wasting your time, that there's an opportunity here and something you genuinely love and enjoy. So to have that come so easily all of a sudden with, you know, numerous people, it was amazing. We definitely were able to form bonds.
But we were all together all day, every day. So that was a big reason why we got to know each other.
We had a lot of stuff planned. Like, we were going to go mini golfing, but weather stopped that. So then we kind of eventually replaced it with gym time. So in the second week of boot camp, we would start with breakfast in the morning, free time. We'd go to lunch, and then we'd go to our Jimmy Floyd gym here, and everyone would have to go there. I think it was for like a 2 or 3 hour block. You had to go. Everyone would go there. You know, we'd work out together. You know, everyone had their workout schedules. You know, all of the players from, you know, all the programs are there. We could play basketball, go swimming, because, you know, it was still midsummer during the time. We could literally do anything. And it was kind of like, some people try to, you know, saw it as like a task, but I think it was just kind of like, I think it was just something fun to do, you know. All we do is sit in chairs and play video games all day, and that's pretty much the opposite of what we did in boot camp. We really didn't play anything until the last few days.
We were doing consistent gym every single day. So we'd work out and then we'd go shoot basketball, and there was probably like, we had like 3-on-3, 4-on-4, 5-on-5 games for like 2 weeks where we're playing with players from 2K, Madden, the Valorant team, Overwatch. So we really got to know each other, and it's very interesting.
Outside of boot camp, we had a team yoga night one day, and we all got together with the yoga instructor at school, and we just did yoga, and it was basically the whole team minus a couple of people. But that was like an interesting thing. It was something different. It was something fun, I suppose. And it was a great way for us to come together and do something together as a team, because it's kind of hard to get 50 people to all have a schedule line up at the exact same time. But it was a great way for us to come together and you know, do something together. And I know there are more plans to do stuff like that in the future.
So we got to just hang out with everybody and not just your team, which I think was the goal for Claypool. I think his goal was to really get everybody united and kind of meet everybody, push them out of their comfort zones, which kind of leads into, you know, my thoughts on, you know, meeting everybody else. Everyone understands we're all here. We're playing video games. It's a privilege. Everyone just enjoys their time, as far as I can see here, you know, just hanging out with each other. Like, I'm super close with a lot of the Val guys. I'm super close with some of the Rocket League guys, the Overwatch guys. Literally the sports guys. Like, every team here, I have people that I'm really close with. And I think the boot camp helped a lot, because I'm a pretty social guy, but, you know, I might not really go out of my way to go into, you know, Valorant's room to go talk to them and see who they are and this and that. Because a lot of times they're in there practicing. So it's like, I don't really want to go in there. You know, sometimes I don't see them around campus. So in the boot camp, kind of pushing us to meet everybody and see what everyone's interests are and just see how cool a lot of them are, I think was really cool. That's why I give more props to Claypool. But I think it made the chemistry and the bond like a million times higher than I think it would have been right now if we didn't have that.
The moment that we took the school side out of it for those 2 weeks, they really got to be, you know, a camaraderie and everything as well. The recruiting process definitely is a very tough one, you know, with esports especially being so new, you know, and the pool of players being very so small. I always love to talk about, you know, if I was still a football coach, I could, you know, say I need a 6'2" receiver on Twitter and I would have 4 million DMs. But I could say I need a GC2 Rocket League player and I might get 2 likes type of thing. And so it is a very big difference. So definitely, you know, recruiting is very tough. But you know, me and my coaching staff will always say this, you know, we just want the best for the players. You know, we could talk to, you know, 150 players in a week, but at the end of the day, we just want to make sure that the players have the opportunity to go and do something that they love and, you know, earn a scholarship or anything like that.
I was at Newberry College last year, And, we had a great season. It was a great program. And then kind of getting towards the end of the season, getting towards the end of the semester, one of my friends and teammates, Calamity, had mentioned something about Cumberland. I kind of, looked into them, like looked up the school, looked at all their programs and stuff like that. And then eventually I started talking to our coach here, Andrew Relk, who's been in the scene, the Call of Duty scene for years. But he told me kind of about the vision that Claypool has for the program and everything they're putting into it and stuff like that. And it kind of caught my eye like really quickly. I got a quick meeting set up with Director Claypool. He pretty much broke down everything for me. He broke down what they're putting into the new facility with all the renovations. He helped me find out how good the business program is here and also the financial side of things. So once I found out about them through a friend, the process went really quick. Within a week, I played in a tryout that Claypool and Relk both watched and hosted. That night, they gave me a scholarship offer and said, we'd love to have you here. And the scholarship offer I got was extremely generous, and it pretty much makes me not have to pay anything for school, which is super helpful from my background. So on top of it being closer to home, having a lot of friends here, a really good program, family close by, it was just absolute no-brainer for this program.
I mean, we've definitely have reached, a new level for our recruiting process. Just because, what will be done here, what our story is, what our vision is, what our structure is, and everything as well.
So I actually retired from the game for a few months. I didn't really know if I was going to pick it up again. At that point, I'd put in about 10,000 hours, and for one reason or the other, just boxes just weren't getting checked. So I decided to take a break. I didn't know if I was going to come back, and one of my friends, as it normally would go, one of my friends convinced me to come back to the game. And I thought, well, if I'm already going to finish out my degree anyway, and there are programs that I've gotten offers from, then I might as well start looking into it again. And I actually messaged Coach Wood, who's here. And at the time last year, in May, I went and competed for Coach Wood at his previous program in Montreal. And so I messaged him and said, hey, is that program still going? He said, no, it's not, but I'm actually looking at a university in Tennessee. You live in Alabama, right? And I was like, yeah, I do. And that kind of just spiraled from there.
One that, definitely was a big shock to a lot of people that they came to us was Morg.
Is that our winner right there?
You might be looking at.
Is that our winner? I believe that is our winner on our screen. Morg.
$225,000.
Morg was a tier 2 player, a old former Fortnite pro and everything as well. A lot of people. He was on a lot of people's radars. He came here. And it's definitely been shown out for us.
You only get a knife kill before killing anybody else, but you have the gun in hand.
You're kidding me!
No scope comes out.
What? How does this even happen? Oh my
Hello!
God. Oh my God. You're kidding. I've never been at a loss of words in a round so heavily. I have never been at such a loss of words in a round in my life.
I'd seen it. I'd heard about it on Twitter, with Red Bull Campus Clutch being so popular. And I decided to turn my attention to it personally because the current scene of Tier 2 Valorant is that there aren't a lot of jobs. Unless you're in the circle, unless you're in the top dogs, you're probably not getting paid. Even some of them aren't getting paid. There's just no jobs available. So the next level of competition that's kind of on that level, for lack of a better word, would be collegiate. I actually signed up to a website called Stay Plugged In, and I got hooked up with this guy named Suave. He connected me with a bunch of directors. It was super cool, super helpful. And eventually I just found one that was close to my family, because family's super important to me, and I didn't want to move too far away from them. So it's only about a 40-minute drive to go see my parents now. The Cumberland Esports program is dedicated, I would say. I'm impressed by the way that they're going about, especially the Valorant program, because they're looking to have 3 teams, a team A, a team B, a team C, and then a program where it shifts the slots so that everyone's competing amongst themselves to, be the best, which inherently promotes greatness.
We're super excited for all the recruits that we have. all the players that we brought in, because everybody holds such a high standard for themselves here, and everybody has a purpose why they're here. And I think that's why our teams are going to be very dominant this year. I think that's why our teams are very dominant right now.
Cass with a beautiful smoke on B from C. Louis gets away with that first blood there.
Blinding!
As he blinds himself back in, gets one. Can he get this jet here? He's just going aggro. 3 bullets left in the bag.
Oh my
Finds the
gosh.
kill.
Remaining.
As it is a
Down B.
5v1. Omen, he's on
Against
seeds. They have
Avery.
no idea. Well, actually, it looks like they all know. I'm not sure what this guy
Yes,
did,
we're
but
gonna
he
see
made a
his
mistake.
One.
Hot dog.
Hot dog.
Close it out.
Defenders win.
I believe that's ring season, baby.
That
man.
is
a championship.
Number 7 is actually looking at this.
Wait, Crayon watching this. He gets the info. Crayon with the 2-piece. Oh! Crayon with 3. Oh my god. Oh my god. Here markers the 4th. Those happens. One shot. He's bought in bed. They have all the info on him. Crayon almost with the 4-piece on that. Bomb is down. 10 seconds left. The round is over.
Our team, see, me coming into Cumberland, there were so many different players that were supposed to be coming here, so I had no idea what the team was going to look like. But my team right now, I have my Challengers teammate Calamity. He's been my teammate for over a year now, and we've been friends. We've won events together. And then my other teammate Honor, I've known him for some time too. I'd met him in February, and just by traveling to going to events, and he's also my roommate too. His same as Calamity. They're both my roommates in an apartment. And then our other teammate Campalot, or Nick, I knew of him. I'd never met him before, but I have played him in the past and stuff, so I knew he was good. But our team is extremely competitive. There is a lot of, there's always a lot of arguments, a lot of bickering, a lot of perfection expected out of everybody. But at the end of the day, outside of the game, everyone's extremely close. I think my favorite competing is, honestly, I would say just our first NAC match. I don't even remember who we played, but just seeing everybody, in here, like a lot of the Val guys, Rock League, everybody was out of their rooms, sitting on the couch, watching our match on the TV. Everybody was in here just having a good time. And that was only a couple weeks ago, or a few weeks ago. And I think by far right now, that's been my, most favorite memory. I think it's just because that kind of demonstrated the family and community that, our Cumberland Esports team really is. Because we understand, a lot of us have been the odd ones out most of our lives, and a lot of us need people to be there for each other. So everyone supports each other a lot.
So we're playing in quite a few leagues right now. So we have about 3 to 4 matches a week right now, which isn't too bad. It's like 1 BO3 per day. And then depending on if we have like a Red Bull qualifier, or we played in a DreamHack qualifier the other weekend, we have those sometimes. And then if we're not doing that, then we're playing, scrimming, server timing, VOD reviewing, all of those things, even before our matches. I'd say we're putting a lot of time into it. It's actually, it's not what I expected, for sure. So the first big thing is that I have 2 Brazilian imports on my team. I have Foxy and I have Cascola. I'm actually living with them now as my roommates. They're super cool guys, super humble, super dedicated to improving. But it's a cool dynamic because I've been learning Portuguese. So, when we're at LAN and we get all excited or we clutch around, I can say, oh, vamos caralho, and in Portuguese and stuff. And it's just like a super fun environment. Other than that, we have Chloe. Super talented, super chill dude. Really, really good at the game. Really consistent. And then we got Bill Goat, who's kind of like the energy carrier of the team. It's like this big buff dude. He's got a beard. Really cool guy. The first one we went to was in HughFest, at HughFest in Pennsylvania, which was really cool. We weren't even supposed to go. I think one team had to back out, but it was awesome. It was really good competition. We hadn't had a lot of practice, but we went in just ready to play, gave it our all. We ended up coming out, I think, 5th, 4th, maybe. But it was cool, honestly. We showed out. I think with more practice, we could do better against a lot of those teams. But, we put our names on the map. And then after that, we went to our Delta Regional Red Bull offline LAN in Alabama. So it was actually surprising. We played one of the opponents that qualified with us to the offline, Auburn Orange. And I believe it was a 13-0. It was a best of 1, to be fair. But it was a 13-0, and so my expectations going into the qualifier were that these teams would, be weak. We're in the southern region. I grew up in Louisiana, so take no offense to this, but seeing a school like Louisiana Tech, I know the type of people that grow up in Louisiana, and I wasn't expecting a bunch of gamers to come out of there. So when they brought us to overtime on one of our maps, I was like, whoa, all right, it's time to get serious. Let's not give them any more, let's dial in. So I think that was refreshing. I think it's a little bit of a wake-up call, but as you know, we came out on top.
They'll move in through Hall. They'll send out the wall to zone and ward away from bottom mid. As a Mickey D's play comes forward, they'll have to be loving it as they step up to sight. There goes Cascola. Hall played, it's over! Cascola with the 4K, 13-5. And Cumberland strike and rise above all competition here in the Delta region of the Red Bull Campus Clutch.
In between our games, or after and before, they had this omnidirectional VR simulator, and it was like a 4-player co-op or PvP thing, and you had to physically run in place to like move your character, and it was super cool. I'm going on a tangent, but it was super fun.
Competition days are I think for me at least they were nothing new, if we mean like in person, but even regular tournaments themselves. I think that there's a certain level of pressure to perform. However, I think now that we've done that so many times and we've not only online but in person, we're becoming as a team very accustomed to it. Kobe Bryant, he says, I'm not asking myself to do something I haven't done 1,000 times before. And I think that plays so perfectly into something like Rocket League, where you have the conveniency to repeatedly do it over and over and over until you have it correct. And so if we've been practicing how we play every single day, every hour of the day that we're on, then realistically there should be no pressure on us when it comes to competitions. I think the level of play individually and as a team is only going to keep progressing forward. I think that that's something that plays true for a lot of Cumberland's programs, is that we're all willing to put in the time to persevere, and as teams and as individuals. And so I think that if I had to give the program a trajectory, it's going to be number one in every esport. Only thing we need is time.
Watch greatness happen is a really clever little slogan, because you look at it and it doesn't say a lot, It's just 3 words, but when you think about it, it means a lot.
Whenever we first started the program, we did a school release with, the news and everything as well, because this was something that was just completely out of the random. Nobody was expecting that Cumberland was going to do this, especially in the state of Tennessee, because Tennessee's esports is really not as high as you see like the Michigans and the Ohios and everything as well. So, definitely a lot of traction came when that came into play. And I was doing an interview and we were talking, and at the end, like it just happened. I was like, the biggest thing is what we're trying to do is we're just trying to watch greatness happen. And that has just stuck with me ever since. There is that big stereotype about gamers and everything, and we want to always prove people wrong. That has been my biggest thing at the end of the day, is I always want to show that we deserve to be at certain tournaments, or we deserve to be in this competition or anything like that. And at the end of the day, we're just going to watch greatness happen. And I always express that to my players, because it's not just when it comes to esports too. It's doing good on a math test, holding the door for somebody at Walmart or anything like that, picking up the trash that you see around campus. Like everything that you do, you should always chase the greatness and have always somebody being like, wow, there's greatness happening, because they're watching greatness happen at the end of the day.
Watch greatness happen is the physical evidence of what's going on right now. All of the new equipment that we have, all the new people we have, the new support we have from the school, the football team loves us. So I think watch greatness happen quite literally just means just like the physical things that have already happened and what is going to happen. It definitely closely reflects to Claypool's vision and his mindset. Like I said, he's constantly talking about growing, constantly thinking about growing, and that little mantra of watch greatness happen really, I know, near and dear to Claypool for sure, and I think it should be to every player. I know it is to me, because seeing all these results and stuff makes me understand that that's actually serious. It's a real thing. You know, the watch greatness happen really does mean something. And I think, I mean, it's been such a short time here right now, and I think in the future we'll be able to come back to that question and really answer it a lot more, because there's going to be so many more things that have been improved.
It's a bar of expectations that we all set for ourselves and for the community as a whole, and really just pushing. It's about pushing each other to be great, if that makes sense. So kind of inherently in the Valorant program, even with the level of competition between ourselves, it's the idea that we can watch greatness happen right in front of our eyes.
The mantra "watch greatness happen" is so fitting because everybody here at Cumberland, regardless of whether you're related to esports or not, in the institution, the students, and in my personal experience, you know, the players here, the events, it's a matter of everybody wants to be successful and be the best at this. You will not outwork me. You will not put in more time than me. And if you did, then you got more sleep than I did. And I think that that's exactly why our mantra is "watch greatness happen," because I think the coaches, the players, you know, everybody's always going to have their opinion. And that's fine, because everybody's entitled to that. But it doesn't mean you're going to be right. It doesn't mean you're going to come out on top. And I think "watch greatness happen" is in some ways, it's, you know, you can do what you want to do. You go ahead, but it ain't gonna work out for long, because you've got people who want it more than you. You've got people who are going to achieve greatness. So in the words of the mantra, just wait for that to happen.
And so I mean, every day, you know, definitely can be, you know, tough. But the biggest thing is, you know, we wake up and, you know, I literally have to like give myself like the words of affirmation, like, hey, today's gonna be a great day. Like, you're gonna watch greatness happen. You're gonna help these players chase greatness and everything as well. Just because, you know, I enjoy what I do at the end of the day. I want my players to enjoy what they do at the end of the day, and you know, having that motto at the end, you know, really just promotes everything. Because, you know, if you don't give your best, you know, if you don't want to chase greatness and everything, then you're doing yourself a disservice. And so for me, if I'm not chasing greatness every day, then I feel like I'm doing, you know, my players, you know, my faculty, my admins, and everything like that a disservice, because I'm not giving my all. Actually, a year ago, I was diagnosed with multiple sclerosis. That 24-hour stream was very massive for me, just due to the fact that, you know, we got to raise something that really was very near and dear to my heart. And, you know, we also got to, you know, see all the, you know, the players, you know, it didn't matter what title it was or anything like that, all come in and, you know, find a way to, you know, get the donations or get the subs and everything like that, because, you know, at the end of the day, you know, this was all going to a great cause. I think that's where, you know, Watch Greatness Happen really expressed how the program was going to go this upcoming year. Was, I mean, this first week, you know, everybody just was meeting everybody, and then that first Sunday we did a 24-hour stream, and everybody was all for doing this. And it like I said, you know, being diagnosed with MS at 26 was definitely not what I had planned. You know, that was definitely a very scary moment at the end of the day. But, you know, doing the watch greatness happen type of thing, you know, that's why I wake up every day like, hey, if I don't chase it, if I don't watch it myself, then I'm doing a disservice to my players. And, you know, it's one of those things that is tough every day, but, you know, the team, the support staff, and everything I have is great. But we still upwards have made, like, I want to say it was like after taxes, like $1,000 for the MS Foundation. It was super awesome. I mean, the motive for that is we always talk about that we're a family, and that, you know, everybody always goes through something, and you might not know what it is or anything like that, but we're a unit at the end of the day, and we want to always support everybody. On our jerseys this year, you know, a great thing, you know, Emerge did it, so shout out to Emerge for doing that as well. But of course, on one sleeve we have Watch Greatness Happen, and then on the other sleeve, you know, everybody decided that, you know, we should put the MS Foundation logo on it. And so, like that right there was just something that was very near and dear to my heart. Just because we had players streaming or players streaming their games, singing on stream, just to help raise money for a great foundation at the end of the day. And it's just something that's very near and dear to my heart. Something that I'll remember forever and everything at the end. The Springs, started off very strong for us. Currently, right now, our Valorant team is top 14 in the nation. They just broke into the top 15 for the first time. Last semester, they ended around top 20, 22-ish. And so now getting into the top 15 is super nice. Our next plan is to definitely try to get into the top 10. Our Call of Duty team sits around top 5, top 6 in the nation, which is super different than it was last semester. Last semester, we weren't even Division 1. We were just the D2 Reapers type of thing. But we're D1 this time, sitting in the top 5, top 6. So super awesome. One of our Valorant teams just won our regional conference. So they took home that championship last week. So just great success that we've had in the spring so far. All of our teams are, fire on all cylinders. They're ready to compete. They are, upsetting a lot of big names and everything, as well as our ACAT team for our Valorant team upset the number 11 team last week. And so it's just super nice to see all the players, putting all the pieces together, especially the ones that were here in the fall, and then all the new ones that came in the spring, just to really come in, compete, and just be ready just to win. So currently, right now, we're actually adding in 2 more titles going into next fall. We're adding R6 as well as CS:GO. So that's super exciting. Bringing in more talent, more players to compete for our program and everything as well. We actually are currently right now redoing our Valorant room a little bit. Trying to make it more soundproof and everything. Just because there's a handful of players in there, and the comms get a little muffled when there's a ton of people in there. But big thing, I definitely say it'll be over the summertime. Definitely, like you said, the walls are going to get completely renovated. We are working with a company right now to make custom logos for us for each title, for our logo, and then different orgs and everything that we work with. Definitely getting their jerseys framed and put them up and everything as well. Definitely just trying to make a traditional sport type of locker room type of entrance and everything as well. So recruiting has gone great. I definitely will give huge props to my graduate assistants, Max and Andrew. Definitely they help me out a ton when it comes to recruiting. Because it's not a one-man show. Definitely takes an army for this program. The thing though is you see 1 or 2. There's definitely a few more that I just told Suave today about, and so we definitely have a few more lined up that have already committed with us as well. So we're super stoked about that. We're excited for this fall class that's coming up. We really want to continue just to build and build and build, be a stronger program at the end of the day. All the new players that came in the spring, especially all the players that came in the fall, it's the culture that we've built here. It's the culture of no matter what we do, we're going to chase greatness. We want people to see us, and when they see us, we want to see greatness at the end of the day. And so one of the things is, like I said, our ACAT team upsetting the number 11 team for Valorant, that was super awesome. That's greatness watching. Our other Valorant team, winning the regional conference, that's greatness right there. It's just super things that, everything that we do at the end of the day, no matter how small, how big, or anything like that, it all will correlate together to watch greatness happen.